Hi, welcome. I'm planning to take you through a chair yoga practice today. This practice will be seated, so we're going to remain in the chair the entire practice today. I do plan on putting additional videos that do have some standing poses, some more advanced poses, but for today we are going to take some mindful movement in the chair in a seated position. So let's get started. Option to close into the eyes if you're comfortable with that. Allowing yourself to really settle into the current moment. Just being here, feeling the body. So if you want to take a few moments to maybe shift weight slightly left to right or forward and back, just kind of taking a little bit of time to make these movements, feeling the weight shift, and then trying to find a place where you are in your center as much as possible, finding that center, finding equalization of weight left to right, forward, and back. Inhaling, reaching tall through the crown of the head, almost as though there was a string pulling up through the top of the head up toward the ceiling. Nice and tall here. Having a flat back is really important, as much as you can, flattening the back, making space between the vertebrae, but then relaxing around that center line, relaxing shoulders, jaw, everything here relaxes down. Your feet are pressing into the earth. They're going to be a place of stabilization for you. So pressing into your feet, feeling that engagement, helping you to lift even taller. And then we'll start to bring our attention to the breath, allowing the breath to fill up in the belly. And then as you exhale, really squeezing out that stale air, bringing belly button back toward the spine on the exhale. Inhales fill you up in through the nose. And then exhale out either through the nose or the mouth, emptying completely, really focusing on the exhale here, giving yourself lots of room for that next inhale to naturally come back into the body. Nice. So just continue here a few more rounds, focusing on these deep diaphragmatic breaths, filling deep down into the lower lobes of the lungs, feeling the grounding energy that comes with these deep breaths, filling up completely, exhaling fully. And then we'll start to bring in a little movement here, continuing with these breaths. Option to keep the eyes closed, just bringing the chin down to the chest, lengthening through the back of the neck. Next inhale, we'll bring right ear to right shoulder, letting the shoulders be heavy, bringing the ear to the shoulder, feeling that stretch in the left side of your neck. One more breath here. And then we'll exhale back through center, chin drops to the chest, and then inhale, left ear to left shoulder now. Still heavy in the shoulders, hands rest maybe on the lap or down at the sides. One more deep breath here on this side, and then exhale your way back to center. Option to take these movements left and right, taking half circles as you trace the collarbones, or if you're ready for some full rotations, option to let the neck flow all the way around in a gentle circle. Just being mindful that we're not overdoing it here. And if you took some full circles, just making sure you get a few in that opposite direction as well, reversing directions now. Keeping shoulders heavy, letting neck find any movements that feel right here. And then starting to find stillness again in the center. Next breath in is going to bring our shoulders up toward the ears. Next breath out will bring shoulders back and down. And we'll continue here now, inhaling, lifting shoulders up, exhaling them down and back. So maybe the hands start to slide on the lap as you inhale and lift up. They slide back toward the hips, and then exhale, kind of pushing the hands back toward the knees. So being really aware here of the breath and also any sensations. So just feeling maybe the clothing on the palms here, feeling the temperature of the air on the skin, just being really aware of everything everything the body's doing in this moment. And just one more time, finishing out this movement, and then exhaling, letting those shoulders relax down. We're going to bring our right hand either to the side of the chair for support or just draping down at the side. We're going to bring that left hand up and overhead, and then start to reach that left hand over to the right side, making a little side bend here with that left side. So this is where that could come in handy to grab onto the chair if you feel like you need support. But if you feel like you don't and you want to continue to bring that arm down on the right side, can help get a little bit deeper here. Next inhale lifts both arms up and overhead, finding lots of length, lots of height. Now that left arm will come down, right arm reaches up and then over to that left side. Just feeling the sensation of the stretch, being here in the moment with whatever sensations arise. And then come back up, both arms come up, and then exhale, hands down to the lap. We're going to work our way into some twists. So we'll start here by taking that left hand, bringing it back toward the hip as we gaze over that left shoulder any amount. So we want to stay tall in the spine, just twisting any amount that feels right. Inhaling back through center, letting that hand come back toward the knee, and then making your way to the second side. Looking over that right shoulder now. Again, any amount that you feel right doing. Coming back to center. And then continuing here, gently side to side. At any time, if you feel like staying a little longer, you could always use your chair for support, or maybe use the hand on the outer edge of the thigh, just gently pressing in for leverage. Again, we always want to stay tall, inhaling first and then exhaling, helping us twist a little more as we squeeze out that stale air, almost as though you're wringing out a towel as you twist. Relaxing the shoulders, being here for one more breath if you've chosen to stay. And then coming back through center if you held on one side, finding a hold on the second side now. And if you're taking those movements, just continuing to gently move side to side. So for arthritis, these more dynamic movements feel better. And for some people, keeping and holding a stretch feels a little bit better, can get a little bit deeper. So just deciding what works best for you. And either way, we'll release, meeting back at center. Let's step our feet a little bit wider here. So a little wider than the chair, angling toes out to the sides, finding a place where the sit bones are firmly grounded down on the chair. So you may need to do what I call hip walking, just kind of side to side, making sure you make that connection, maybe even moving anything out of the way that is in between the sit bone and the seat, just allowing that firm connection, really allowing yourself to ground down again to lift up. So from here, we're going to work our way into our cow and cat movement. So we want to make sure there's room behind the back. So if you're too far back on the chair, you may need to come forward a little bit. And we want our knees over our ankles roughly so that we're really supported that way. We're going to inhale, lifting up through the chest. Again, maybe the hands slide back toward the hips here. Opening, lifting. Maybe that head falls back in surrender. And then exhale, sliding hands forward, tucking chin, tucking tailbone under, and finding that rounded spine, that cat-like back. So continuing here with these movements, inhale, lifting up, pressing down again through the sit bones to find that length. And then exhale it out, finding cat pose now. Rounding the spine, tucking everything inward, exhaling it all out. Continuing here with this movement. Another option here, if you want to interlace the fingers out in front of you, flipping palms away from you, getting a little more rounding in the spine as you press through the palms. And then as you lift up, maybe those arms come up and overhead. So if this feels like too much on your shoulders, just keeping hands on the lap, letting them slide as we did when we started here. Same movement's going to happen through the spine. Just another option to intensify if you'd like to take that here. Just a few more rounds, making this movement your own, taking in anything else that you'd like to take. Maybe some movement in the head and neck as you continue to work your way around in these movements. And then start to slow it down, slowly coming back to center, coming into a neutral position with the spine. Going to keep our hands here on the legs, keeping the legs open wider. We're going to turn the torso toward the left leg. So the torso is kind of pointing as much as you can toward that left knee. We're going to inhale, arms up overhead, finding that length again, pressing palms together, bringing the hands to the heart. Still keeping that turn as we take the torso and start to bring it down toward the thigh. So we're really pressing into the feet here, keeping stable through the legs. Bottom half of the body is not moving. We're hinging at the hips, sinking our way down, feeling a stretch maybe in that right side body, maybe feeling it in the thigh as we're engaged in the legs here. Letting the torso come down any amount. One more deep breath here. Letting it out completely. And then we'll use an inhale to rise back up. Let those fingertips stay touching, bringing them all the way up overhead, bringing torso back to center. As you exhale, palms spread out to the sides, flipping downward, reaching maybe for the side of the chair. If you have that space in the shoulders, maybe even reaching back behind you for the back of the chair seat. Inhaling as you lift the chest again, dropping head back, pulling shoulder blades together behind the back. One more deep breath here. And then we'll come back to neutral, releasing hands to the side, inhaling all the way back up and overhead. Exhaling, hands to the heart. And we'll take our twist now over to that right side, lining up that chest with that right knee as much as possible, sitting nice and tall, relaxing shoulders, pressing palms together. Next exhale starts to sink us down. Chin and chest comes down toward that knee and that thigh, any amount, going really slow, really controlled, feeling that stretch in the sides of the core. Feeling it in the legs as you press firmly into the feet, staying stable here, holding and supporting that upper body. One more breath, really nice work. And then inhale, come all the way back to center, all the way up and overhead with those fingertips. Take a nice deep breath. And as you exhale, taking palms, opening out to the sides, and then reaching back for the sides or the back of the chair. Big breath in. Filling up, lifting up, and then back, finding your breath. And then coming first up and then out of the pose. Really nice work. So we'll keep our legs spread here. Our hands can rest gently on the lap or come to the hips, whatever feels more comfortable. We're going to take some circles with the hips. So I'd like to exaggerate these movements. First, moving over to one leg, kind of that same motion where you're pulling the chest in toward the one thigh, toward that knee, and then you're continuing across the front, over to that other knee, and then lifting up, maybe rounding the spine as you come back, and then finding that inward motion as you draw the chest down toward the thigh, all the way across the front of the body, and then make your way to the other side, tucking the chin, tucking everything as you make your way around the circles. Big breaths in to inhale, taking you around the front of the circle if you want to sync up your breath. Exhales help you round and tuck as you come around the back side of that circle. So when you find the opportunity to, when you find a good time, go ahead and switch directions, transitioning gently to the other side. Maybe noticing any differences here. Maybe you don't feel like you can get quite as deep. And all of that's okay. We're just noticing here to just become more self aware. We never want to judge ourselves or talk negatively, but it is good to just make some brief notes, just feeling into the body and knowing what works and what doesn't for you here today. So let's just take about one or two more, finishing out this movement, and then making our way back to the center. Go ahead and walk those feet back toward one another, finding about hip width again with the knees and the feet. We're going to really ground down through the right foot, pressing that foot into the floor as we lift the left leg up. Maybe we use our hands around the shin to draw that knee in toward the chest, staying tall in the spine, remembering that string lifting up and out of the seat here. Full breath in, full breath out. Maybe making some movement in the ankles here, just a few rounds in each direction. And then we'll move our hands to the thigh, allowing the leg to straighten any amount. So you may keep a bend in the knee. It doesn't have to be completely straight. Finding that place that works for you, and then exhaling, bending the knee again. And we'll take a couple like this, just inhaling to open the leg, exhaling to bend it back inward. Let's take one more just like that. Inhale, come long. This time, as you bend into the knee, see if you can bring the ankle up on top of the opposite thigh. Now, if this feels way too tight or doesn't work for you, you always have the option to cross lower down on the ankles, opening that hip in this way. If it does work and you can find that connection comfortably, finding that figure four, sitting up nice and tall, and then just relaxing into the pose. So oftentimes we feel tight in the hips and we tense everywhere else, especially around the jaw, the neck, the shoulders. So seeing where you can settle in, maybe it even feels comfortable for you to start to fall forward, maybe resting the forearms somewhere on the legs, opening just a little deeper, letting the upper body be heavy, kind of letting gravity do the work here. So any variation of this pose is just fine. The goal here is to open up that hip and try to find relaxation around any tension. So finding that softness anywhere you can, maybe sending those breaths back into the belly here, just reminding the body to relax, reminding the parasympathetic nervous system to stay engaged here. And let's just find two more deep breaths on this side in this position. And then go ahead and come up if you're not already there. Option to come out if it feels like enough, but if you want to take one more advancement in this pose, maybe taking a twist over to that left side. So you can do this with both legs down, just coming into another twist here. But if that leg's still up, maybe using leverage from the chair or from the thigh. Lifting first, inhaling nice and tall, exhaling, twisting just a little deeper, relaxing those shoulders. Being present in this moment, noticing any sensations, any places the body is touching the chair or the ground. Just being here in this moment. And then unraveling back to center, letting that leg come down to the ground. Making sure you're set up with the left leg now planted down into the foot, stacking knee and heel. And we'll take that right leg up now toward us, using maybe the shin to pull the leg in toward the chest, any amount, sitting nice and tall, relaxing the shoulders, finding the breath here, maybe finding a little bit of movement into the ankle. And then we'll work our way into the back of the leg as we straighten out, inhaling, finding any amount of length in the leg, and then exhaling, bringing that knee and thigh back in toward the chest. So just taking a few of these, maybe 2 or 3 more. Nice and tall, sitting up as best you can, grounding through those sit bones to find that height. And then next time that knee comes in, finding that bend, maybe bringing that heel over to the thigh. So maybe trying this side, even if the other side didn't work, just seeing sometimes we are uneven and one side will work. So just exploring here, but always knowing you have that option to cross anywhere down the leg at the ankle. And sit up nice and straight, nice and tall. Option to stay here or hinge forward again. Resting elbows kind of by the knees also helps, again, gravity and kind of that weight of the elbows to push everything down and out. Letting the head and neck be heavy. Letting the belly be soft, receiving those breaths again. Let's take our 2 more deep breaths on this side here in this position. And when that feels complete, starting to come up, taking that option to either come out and twist or finding the twist here from our seated pigeon. So if you're ready to do that, go ahead and start making your way over to the right, using any supports that feel right in your body. Again, not overdoing it, just taking yourself to that place that feels just right. Really checking in with your body, relaxing where you can. And we'll take a nice deep breath, finishing out on this side. Nice full breath in, full breath out. And then releasing your way back to center. Taking that leg down. Let's go ahead and take our legs out in front of us for a moment. So you may need to slide a little further forward in the seat, just making sure you're still grounded into that seat, maybe finding the walking again to make sure you have that connection between sit bones and seat. Flexing toes up toward your body. So when you flex, you're almost imagining the toes coming back toward the knees, really engaging the legs. Our feet are about hip width apart. We're going to go ahead and inhale, arms up and overhead. Exhale, falling forward any amount. So if you don't feel stable, you can use the sides of the chair for support with the hands as you hinge at the hips, coming forward, keeping a flat back. If the arms want to work their way down the legs, feel free to do that as well. If you're starting to feel the back really rounding, maybe taking an inhale, halfway lifting. Finding that flat back as you lift the chest, coming out of the pose slightly, and then coming down again one more time, leading with the chest. There you go. And we'll just stay here for 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lifting back up, bending back into the knees. Take a little final movement here, maybe into the shoulders or the neck, just finishing off any final movement the body wants to take before we come into our final stillness. Maybe taking a little bit of time to shake out the arms or maybe pat down the body, kind of crisscrossing your way down the body onto the legs, all the way down to the lower legs. Maybe coming around the back side, the front side, side body. And when you're ready to, just letting everything go. Big breath in. Exhale through the mouth. Let's take one more like that. Big breath in. Exhaling through the mouth. And then I invite you to find Shavasana, whatever that means for you today. In the chair, this is the time that you really can sink down deep into the chair, relaxing your back onto the back side of the chair, maybe taking legs long, maybe keeping them bent and a little wider. Just seeing what feels best for you. Props can work if you're at home and you want to put a pillow or a bolster behind your back or even a rolled towel. Anything to make yourself as comfortable as possible. If nothing feels quite right in the chair, you can choose to come down onto a mat lying down on the floor, or hinge forward and just find a resting pose here in a forward fold. So, wherever you've landed, just settling in there. Again, an opportunity to close the eyes if that feels right for you. Just soften that gaze, scanning through the body with the body, starting down at the tips of the toes, just seeing anywhere you can soften. Seeing anywhere you can release tension, even into the arches of your feet, softening everything down. Feeling a little heavier down into the ground, into the chair, working your way up the legs, all the way up through those muscles in the legs, relaxing knees. Again, maybe splaying out slightly to the sides, releasing any tension being held in the thighs, in the sit bones, in the hips. Just being here with the breath as you soften through the torso, through the belly, letting these breaths just in naturally. Maybe not so deep here as you just relax further into stillness. Continuing up through the chest and shoulders, letting everything hang heavy. Sides of neck, maybe the chin even comes down a little heavier toward the chest. Feeling any more relaxation, you can invite into the jaw, the face, those muscles around the eyes, even that skin on your scalp, just relaxing everything a little bit deeper down. And I'll leave you here for just about a minute or two to relax into this stillness without the sound of my voice. Taking your time to integrate today's practice. If you choose to continue this stillness a little bit longer, feel free to do so. Maybe even just letting the video play out or turning off the screen. And if you're ready to start making some subtle movements again, just starting to find a place that the body's ready to move, maybe into the fingers, toes, wrists, or ankles. Just easing your way out of this stillness. Eyes can remain closed. When you're ready, maybe start to gently flood or open, just taking back in all of the sights around you. Trying to stay focused and inward, just letting everything else be in the background as you begin to sit up a little bit taller again, easing your way out of the practice. I invite you to take one final breath with me, inhaling arms all the way up and overhead, bringing the hands to touch, and then exhaling hands down through that center line. Thank you all so much for practicing with me. It is truly a pleasure to be able to guide you in this practice, to be able to reach so many people all over the state, all over the country even. Thank you again for joining me, and namaste.